Hey. Right. Hi, Becky. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. I am good. Yes. Feeling cold. Got the scarf on now.
Yep, it's definitely coming to winter.
Yeah.
What is
First,
it?
first
First
of
of
October.
October, and it's definitely hit
I
winter.
can't believe it's October already. It's shocking. Shocking. But I've just got to tell everybody, you were my original, weren't you? You were the first person to, well, I think we both developed the science together because
Yeah,
just your main focus is chemistry. You do teach the other ones as well, but you were responsible for the Key Stage 3 course for
yeah,
science, and you've been doing the Year 9 AQA course, but now you're just going to be doing the chemistry, Year 10, 11 content,
yeah.
um, and you're doing the A level chemistry as well.
Just trying to refine things a little bit. Obviously,
Yeah.
I've at GCSE the knowledge for both, well, all three biochem phys is there,
Yeah.
but certainly A level is only specialising in chemistry.
Yeah. I've
Uh,
only like biology. It's like, no, I
and
did I did do chemistry A level, but that was
yeah,
a very, very, very long time ago, and I can't
yeah,
remember
so
it.
I did biology and physics, but it's no, it's not quite there. It wouldn't be fair. You've got to keep
Yeah.
using.
Well, we
Um,
can even just like kick off with the A level stuff. It is a huge jump from GCSE to A level, isn't it? So
Absolutely.
obviously, I know the biology perspective because I've done my Bridge the Gap course for biology, but you have done the chemistry Bridge the Gap course. Can you tell us a bit about that side of things? What can they get from their Bridge the Gap course, and what do you recommend for A level students?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of getting ready for A level is, well, it's all dependent. If you've done dual award, so if you've done combined science, then you've got a little bit of sort of catching up to do. Where Bridge the Gap is, I would say absolutely essential. But it's even when we've done triple. You've got that big gap anyway between finishing your GCSEs and starting AS level.
Mm.
Yes, of a break and all the other things, but if you don't keep on top of it, you do forget it, and
Yeah,
it is in at A level. There's a tiny bit of atomic structure, but even at A level, sorry guys, you're going to learn that electrons don't actually go around in those nice neat circles.
no, no.
Right, right from the off, you're building on new content. The maths level of it increases quite a bit.
Yeah, same with biology. Yeah.
Yeah, you've
Yeah.
got a maths substance pretty much straight away as well. And that's, it's quite maths heavy.
Mm.
Um, but in any sessions, anything that I produce, my maths is not the greatest. And so therefore I have to really break it down. But if I can get through it and muddle my way through it, then anybody can
And that,
can follow
yeah,
me.
and it's really good to have that acknowledgement that, we're not all perfect. We don't all like marvelous maths people and things like that. So the fact that you actually break it down just benefits those students even more, doesn't it? It's just
Absolutely.
simplified.
And there has been and there will be students that I work with that will go on and sort of, if you look at grades, achieve greater than I did back in
Yeah.
whenever
Yeah.
levels. But I think it's about the ability to unpick things. If you can lock in those basic things, you can pretty much unpick anything and then build those skills back up again.
Yeah, yeah. Because I always find when I'm tutoring chemistry, I always really focus on that first module of the atomic structure and understanding that because everything to do with chemistry is linked and understanding how atoms work and how they interact. And so it's so important to know the
Yeah.
foundations to then,
Atoms and electron structure, you can understand why they're as reactive as they are, the way that they bond, what they'll build into. So
yeah,
yeah, it is, the fundamentals are fundamental and it really does need to be solidified to
yeah,
move on to the rest of it
yeah.
because it does quite quick.
Yeah, well, yeah, you've got to do, especially at A levels, you've got to do that extra work behind it. And that's where, even if you're in a school environment or home ed, working at home and that, but if you're in school and you have those lessons and you need to have that extra support, your A level chemistry course and all the courses really complement and
Yeah.
provide that stability and that reassurance that you can just go and watch that video again and just learn, or even get ahead. That's
Yeah,
always another
absolutely.
good thing.
Yeah, because I do always start right at the very basics, and you know, for some students they'll have that, but for the ones that haven't or you've forgotten, I always start right at the basics. This is the simplest type of question you'll get,
Yeah.
and then we build it up. So if you've forgotten, if it's a refresher, or if you want to get ahead, you probably still can follow what I've produced and get ahead, and then hope not much shock in lesson and in that bit more faster paced environment.
Yeah.
Because things obviously that we're producing and that you offer, it's great because students can go back, they can pause the video, rewind the video. What did she say? Can you just say that again?
You can't do that in a lesson. It's like,
Oh, you
yeah,
just pause there a minute, please.
yeah, can you repeat that again? But you know, obviously it was in that class environment as well. You might feel a bit, you don't want to put your hand up and ask, oh, could you just go over that again? So having these courses, you can just go, right, I must remember that I will watch that video when I get home just to make sure I do really.
We've all been there, haven't we, where we don't quite want to ask that question because you think, what if that's a bit silly, or what if it's only me? Well, actually, it's probably not, but we're all guilty of that.
Yeah.
I'll just rewind it and watch that bit again rather than have.
I just love it because, like, I love it with the relationship you build with your students and stuff like that. They always ask questions. Oh, this may sound silly, but, and I'm like, no, there's no silly question. I love it. And it's like they bring such diversity. You know, they go, well, what about this? And I'm like, oh, I never thought about that. And we will go like Google it, just like check it all out.
Just complete tangent on something else, but it's fine.
It's fine, but it's all linked together, and how their minds work, students' minds work, is so refreshing because as teachers we just get stuck on the same content, blah blah blah. So any student that, even like with the course, and they email in, go, what about this, what about that, or what, you know, yeah, great, let's find out. And
all question, absolutely.
yeah, absolutely, I love it, absolutely love it. But I'm trying to think back, because it was around a Christmas time. Was it 2 or 3 years ago that you started this?
Could it be three this
Don't
Christmas?
say that. 3 years ago.
I think so.
Blimey, yeah. So, I mean, it was, I think in sort of reflection for demand, I think, for tutoring and national tutors being created, that you came on board. And
you just put out a little ad in a group I saw somewhere, just wanting a bit of capacity, and
yes, if anyone was interested, yeah. And it's just grown. I mean, the demand, I mean, at the moment we're just speaking to people every day needing support, especially that people that whose children are struggling in school, they want to leave the school and go through the home ed route. I don't know about you, but have you seen an influx in demand for tuition, and also the struggle with in school and students leaving and stuff like that?
Yeah, and I mean, as an ex-teacher myself, I've seen the struggles, and I know from a teacher's perspective the struggle in school as well.
Yes,
which does unfortunately get passed to the students, and so students don't always get that perfect education in school, do they? It's
so hard. Yeah,
it is.
I don't work in a mainstream school anymore because this has just taken over my life, but in a good way, in such a good way. It's just, and as a teacher, all I want to do is help and support, and I struggled to feel that I did that in school. I mean, yeah, I was there, but you just
work to curriculum constraints in school, don't you? Whereas what we do now, we're not at those constraints. So in the courses and things that I run as well, yes, I have a plan. But if something needs to change, and if you can see a student's not getting it and they want to do something else, or Becky, I've got a test coming up next week and we'll look at this. Absolutely, let's just flip it.
Yeah.
And we don't have those struggles, and going back to the maths, that the maths in chemistry, there's lots of maths in science. We don't often get time to really teach that maths skill. We just presume that they know it from maths.
Yeah.
And for some reason, maths in science just doesn't seem to compute. It's like it's a whole
Do you
thing.
find that? It's like, I go, right, the maths inside GCSE, we're talking about GCSE. I said, look, it's about Key Stage 3 level maths. And they're like, and I go through it and they're like, but that, so it's exactly the same as the maths GCSE. I'm like, yeah, it's not. We're not reinventing the wheel here. We're actually using, multiple subjects here. It links with geography, with the atmosphere, and it's all the same content,
I think because we have a bigger story, a bigger context behind it, we might be talking about an industrial reaction. It just completely then throws them. But we don't have to sit and do that maths, whereas now we have, if we have time to
it's
maths, we can.
Yeah, it's that confidence that they need as well. And that's hopefully what comes across with the course, is showing them, because you don't only just do, well, we only don't just do content, we do like the exam questions and how to apply that knowledge as well, which is huge, because we did that revision course, didn't we? You did the chemistry, I did the biology. We did the ultimate revision course as well, where we use exam questions. So it's not just knowledge. Yes, it's really important to understand stuff.
Yeah. Massive advocate for using exam
Oh
questions.
my goodness. All my year 11 students are just exam questions all the time.
Yeah, I use them pretty much in any session I produce, because
Yeah.
I cannot get it across how useful it is, and just understanding, because students have often got that knowledge, they just don't know how to apply it to that question, or they don't understand what the question is asking them. They know stuff, they just don't know how to get it down correctly on the question.
And the more questions you do, you go, that's exactly the same answer. I'm like, exactly, it's the same knowledge, but it's just, you've got to think about the question, because you are also an examiner.
Yeah, I think I've just done year 11.
Wow, my God. So lots of experience that people will get from the courses as well, because you just, I bet you see quite a few interesting answers. Have you ever seen one of those like silly answers that they just don't know and they just draw a funny face or something bizarre?
Yeah. I've had lots of little things where they just, apologize that they don't know the answer, but I'll give it a go anyway. And
Oh, bless it, yeah. But I love that perseverance. It's like, yeah, like, I don't know, but I'll give it a go. I'll throw some keywords in there and see, and it's always worth doing that. It's always worth.
Absolutely. I always say that, if you might not get it right and you might not score anything, but if you don't answer it, you certainly won't score anything.
Yeah.
So you may as well have a go. It doesn't get negative marks, you're not going to lose marks, so you may as well use that knowledge that you've got, that basic knowledge again, that's coming back to those fundamentals. What do you do, and just give it a shot. Just give it a shot.
Absolutely, just go for it. And always, just say to students, like, if there's like a multiple choice, yes, you've got like maybe 25% chance if it's 4 answers. Just go for it. Just go. Yeah.
See what you can narrow down, see what you can rule out, because there'll always be a crazy answer in there. Scrap, you're down to 1 in 3 chance now. Go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, lots of helpful hints there, even before we get sort of started. So
little things like, this year was the first year that I've ever marked a graph within chemistry, because they're usually on paper 2, and I fell across a graph this year, and I didn't realise just how strict they were with the line of best fit, which has completely now changed. The kids that I work with now are probably like, oh, shut up about this graph. But I didn't realise it has to be, we say it in schools all the time, sharp pencil, ruler, 1 straight line. But if you alter that line ever so slightly, that's it. You've negated your mark, because essentially you've drawn 2 lines, and it's. But now I've got that. I can
so they draw a line, but then correct it and draw another line.
Yeah, it's got to be really obvious that other one's gone if they've left, like, if it looks what they call feathered.
Oh, I know.
Because, I'll do that. Oh no, I'll just slightly change the angle. Oh no, that's, and then they just don't get it.
Is it? Yeah. Oh, it's my bugbear. It's one of my bugbears. Whenever they get even a table, I'm like pencil, sharp pencil, a rubber, a ruler. That's just, if I see one of my students drawing a graph with a biro, I start getting a twitch. I'm just like, and I was going to them, it's not an art lesson. It's like drawing biology images and stuff like that. I'm like, we're not shading. It's not an art lesson. You
No.
simply just gotta like, yeah,
Sneak.
don't ever feather. Don't ever feather. And it's, yeah. So,
Yeah, and you know the plotting of the points, it makes it
yeah,
so much easier as well to mark because you can see exactly where it is because they're allowed half a small square in tolerance and
yeah.
every has to be checked. So yes, summer was fun marking 600 and odd of those.
I like graph paper though, my eyes just go all funny. I'm just like, I can't do it. But even like I have to use a ruler along the lines because
Yeah.
you could just end up, just, yeah. But if we are struggling with those sort of things, it's a normal thing. This, and listen to like Becky's advice, my advice, when we give you these tips, it's really important to take them on board because you could lose 1, 2, 4 marks.
Yeah.
And they are easy marks to get, especially with graphs.
Yeah.
It's understanding where those marks are given and making sure you do things correctly. And then normally give like bullet points, don't they? So plot it.
Yeah. Plot it, label it, storyline of best.
Just tick it off. Just go back and check. Yeah, absolutely. So, good.
There's probably going to be a graph in each area of science.
Mm-hmm.
3 graphs in your GCSEs at least. It's not worth losing those marks. Just let's master how to draw a graph and
Yeah,
get
it is
marks.
just maths. You
Yeah.
learn how to draw math. You learn how to draw maths in graphs. Round the other way, you learn how to draw graphs in maths, and it's exactly the same rules that apply whenever you draw a graph. It's not a new language. It's not a new subject. We're not creating anything here. We are just borrowing skills from other subjects. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, I like borrowing. Just going to borrow that for a while. But yeah. No, so you've been with me for so many years and it's been so nice. I mean, half the chemistry content's yours. It's like it's good. But what's your feelings about National Tutors? What drew you to it really that you thought, oh, that's a good idea?
Yeah, I think just the fact that the way that you run it, we can offer so many different options.
Mm.
Having those recorded sessions, it just gives a different price point for people. It gives different availability because obviously if you've got recorded sessions that are well resourced, etc., you can just pick them up at any point. You don't have to be there at 7 o'clock on a Tuesday evening. Life sometimes happens, things change, we have different plans, and it just gives that so much more flexibility that you can just go back, pick up that lesson whenever you need it.
Yeah.
And I always say, even in the recordings that I've done, I will say, if you do need further support, please do still reach out to me.
Yeah.
I don't think either that, there's Becky, that she made that recording for National Tutors and that's it. No, I'm still here. I'm still happy to help further if needed. If you drop me a message and just say, can I just ask about that question? Of course you can.
Yeah.
Let's just give that level of flexibility for people as well, doesn't it? The recorded course.
Absolutely. But I find as well, it's cost of tutoring.
Yeah.
It kind of limits those people that can access that. Whereas if, equivalent, you can get the whole GCSE for equivalent to about sort of 10 lessons. So the amount of resource you get for the same price, and we spread the cost as well.
Yeah.
It's really, that's what our whole ethos. We want to make sure students get the grades they deserve.
Yeah, there's something there for everyone.
Yeah, and the flexibility is amazing. But as you just said, it's still, we don't just send it off and go, oh, there you go, bye. We're still here.
Yeah.
To receive those emails that go, can you just help with that? Because what I'm doing now is a free weekly live mentoring session. So we will, I might see if you're free, but we might just do a chemistry themed one where, students that are doing the chemistry or science issues, or, we'll do a science one, they can come and ask questions and get some science feedback. We'll do it for maths and English as well. And we're going to do some for parents. We'll do some sessions for parents to come and ask as well. So that is on top of the fact that you're going to get a whole resource of lessons, you're going to get access to us personally, and you're going to get mentoring sessions, because it is, as we said before, it's not just about knowledge, it's also about how to apply that knowledge, but also well-being. Your well-being is so important, and
Oh goodness, yeah.
we also need to take into consideration that as well, because they're like, yeah, let's work loads, and then oh, I mean, like, oh, why do I feel so tired? I wonder why.
All the hours we've worked, but it's just I think as a teacher that never leaves you. You want to help, and especially doing it this side, coming out of the classroom and not having those constraints and things, it kind of almost makes me want to help more, because I can. I haven't got this class or that class, or
you're not rushing off there and there, or duties or anything like that.
You've got the time to stop and have that conversation, whereas whizzing around school, you don't.
No.
And it's not you want to, it's just you've always somewhere to be.
Yeah, because of limitations of being in a school in that sort of context. It's like you can't just sit in your classroom waiting for students to come along. You've got they give you so many other things to do.
Yeah.
And then there's the marking. Which I've got some to do here. So I'm still marking, but definitely a smidgen of what was given to me.
Marking things that are purposeful and that are going to provide a good feedback, and that I've no issue whatsoever. I tell students all the time, if you've done a test, send it through to me, let me have a look.
Yeah, let's have a look and find the gaps. There's how your gaps are, isn't it? And then you can go, and it's good that they do go through them in class, but in my session we really go through them, and we go off in tangents, and we've identified the gaps, and I then provide extra videos or my session or whatever, if I'm personally one-to-one private tutoring. But yeah, it's exam questions are just such a good way to structure your revision.
Yeah, because it can be something so simple, that's just such an easy fix.
Yeah.
But until somebody's actually sat down and pointed that out, using a mark scheme, I also understand that, it's great when students say, oh, well, I downloaded a paper and the mark scheme, etc. But mark schemes can be tricky to understand and to read.
Oh, goodness. I like AQA mark schemes. Edexcel, I'm like, it's like, I'm like, what are they, where there's, and it's really hard to dissect, exactly what they're saying. I prefer the AQA. So I don't mean to. That's fine, but I'm just looking. But students have to use mark scheme and learn how the examiner is going to mark their work. Yeah. That is really important, and that's what I use. Like I do the ChatGPT 6 markers now. They type in the question, it produces an answer. Then I say, right, get the mark scheme, and then mark that answer. If you think it deserves 6, and looking at the different levels, then give it, and you've got created a model answer then, and then they can bank that and read it, for further revision. Yeah. So it's AI is okay. Do we do? It's good. It helps.
Some things.
Yeah, but that's brilliant. Oh, well, we've put the world to rights now, so that's all good. But I always end with, I'd like to, if you can you share us some words of wisdom? What's your key thing you always say to your students that's really important for them that you think needs to be shared?
I'm just going to come back to it. For me, it is absolutely exam questions. Learning what those questions mean, because even from the younger years, you're still going to do tests at school. You need to understand what is it that it's actually asking. So understanding the command words of the question. What does the question actually want you to do? Yeah. And it's understanding those basics and just sort of trying to remain calm, think about the question, annotate the questions. What do you want?
I love an annotation.
Yeah, because actually once you start to unpick the question, you think, oh yeah, responded with that must be Ionic, and then it's going to be.
Yeah, and then the other things, no waffling.
No waffling.
Don't repeat the question in your answer as well.
No, don't waffle. Yeah, I was chatting to a student the other day that said, I've been told I must write my answers as though I'm writing to a 6-year-old.
Yeah, I always say, and it's nothing personal, but I would say, imagine the examiner is stupid, really sick, doesn't understand anything, and that's what you put in your answer.
Even if you think it seems obvious, put it in. But yeah, get to the point as well. Don't
Yeah, yeah.
just be
Oh,
be confident. It's building that confidence, and it can be tricky. Science is tricky. There's a lot of content. There's a lot of new language. You've got the maths element as well, as we've already spoken about.
yeah.
But it is really just trying to break it down.
Yeah.
You know, my little saying is, you know, I'm on a mission to simplify the science.
It
Math,
is. It's all simplifying, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Just got to keep it simple. That's
yeah.
brilliant. Excellent advice. And I thank you. And also, let me just quickly say that command words, how to answer things, there's a webinar that is included in those our revision courses. So
Yeah.
that's what part of the course as well. So you do Key Stage 3, chemistry, bridge the gap, AQA chemistry, and A-level chemistry as well. All of these courses can be found on National Tutors. They are amazing.
Thank
Okay,
you.
but thank you very much. And well, we might see you in a mentoring session soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be up for
Someone
that.
has to join. That's all I'm
Yeah.
going to say. But thank you very much, and I will speak to you soon and see you later.
Thank you.
Bye.